Well, I would say today's budget is not only growth oriented, but has also focused on the inclusive growth agenda of the Prime Minister Modi. This will help the middle class to a great extent, especially on the relief in the tax slabs which have been given. That will be something which I think is a huge positive for a middle class family and middle class persons, and also for the senior citizens and women. जो उन्होंने स्पेशल लिमिट्स बढ़ाई हैं और जो विमेन और गर्ल्स के लिए 2 लाख का एक लिमिट करके यहाँ 7.5% rate of interest मिलेगा fixed for a 2-year deposit. I think these are some very, very positive and good steps. Also, I would say a huge focus on tourism, which I believe will not only end up creating jobs, but also a huge focus on skilling in the tourism sector. But more importantly, tourism in the domestic sector. I think that is something which is a great focus which I saw today. And this will not only help in creating better infrastructure. I also believe that with all the investments in the past few years gone into the infrastructure significantly, will also boost religious tourism in the country.
So I see this budget to be a budget which is a very visionary budget, which really lays down a budget for or a roadmap or a vision for the next 25 years, the Amrit Kal, so to say, because it really focuses on many areas like ease of living, and that's a very important point because we see the budget to be strongly focused on that. Second, of course, this entire boost that the investment demand will get with a continued focus on capex. The government has led from the front and done the heavy lifting on investment through capex, and I think that is going to trigger further investments from the private sectors, crowding in investment from the private sector. Third, consumption demand, with the changes in the income tax that we see, is going to be phenomenal both in terms of sentiments as well as boosting the consumption demand, which was very much required as India is a consumption-led economy. Next, if you see the focus that the budget has given on the rural side, on the rural economy, and also the urban rejuvenation and urban planning, just shows that there is an all-round thinking in the government into seeing to it that how we can really take the country all along. I mean, it talked about Northeast, it talked about focus on less developed areas too. Lastly, I would like to say it was just very, very important that the country focuses on sustainability. And in the budget, we see both sustainability as a big focus as well as R&D and technology. So that makes the budget a budget for everyone and a budget with a strong vision for growth and balanced development.
It's a very good growth-oriented budget, continuing all the good work of the previous budgets, but focusing on making sure that the areas which had issues and support was required has happened. I think the support to the states to further improve the urban bodies support is also very welcome. So it's an excellent budget, very growth oriented. I think there have been, I would say, focus to make sure all sectors where there have been problems coming out of COVID, as well as from an individual aspect, has been covered in that.
I think it's a great budget in terms of growth. It's a very growth-oriented budget. There's a lot of talk of infrastructure spending. There's a lot of talk about green growth. The finance minister began her speech talking about youth and women, a lot of job creation, infrastructure creation and development. So definitely a positive budget. With the reduction of income tax at the lower level, will definitely have people have more money in their hands for consumption. So I think it's a positive budget.
No, I think this has been a great budget, especially for the common people, for the common man, because if you see it, it's very holistic. Right. I think if you see the personal income tax, of course, is I think the biggest advantage where we saw there is a more spending power in the hands of the young people or of the common man, and that will encourage and spur growth. Right. I think that is one very important point. I think second is, the agriculture focus that we heard, the digital stack there, the ability to create entrepreneurship there. So, rural India not only being job seekers, but actually becoming job creators, a large fund being allocated towards innovation is also a very strong thing. I think these digital stacks that are going up are more important than the common man. I think is the young man or young person of India, because it's 1 in 10 people in the world is an Indian under the age of 25, and the Gen Z, as they call it, people born from 1995 are going to be the biggest consumers and producers in the next 10 to 25 years. So I think the finance minister's view of a 25-year view, the 7 priority areas, I think all align very well. Digital, youth, rural, more spending power, as all going to spur growth in the right direction. So I'm very hopeful that this budget will lead to a better outcome when it comes to growth from here on.
I think this budget is hugely beneficial for everybody. It takes care of the common person. The income tax rates have been revised there to the benefit of the common person. That will increase consumption. In addition to that, that will increase, therefore, the manufacturing. There is focus on a green economy. There is focus on battery energy systems. There is focus on the railways, on infrastructure. 10 lakh crores has been allocated for infrastructure. That will create jobs. There have been allocations for small and medium enterprises. It will create jobs for them. There have been support to small and medium enterprises, and it'll help them grow. So overall, I think there is an all-inclusive budget over here, something for everybody. I think it is very good for the common person. As the infrastructure improves, it will become easier for them to move around the country. As the expenditure in railways moves, they will be able to be transported faster, much more efficiently. They will be able to live in a greener society. The reduction in income tax rates will help them spend more and save more and spend more. So there will be a benefit here for everybody.
It's a great balance. It's a balanced budget, and I think it is a good budget for the youth like you also, and for the old people also, for women also. And I think most important, the budget has something for everybody. And so I am saying it is a good budget. And I think now we have to take the full opportunity which have been created by the various funds and the schemes to take this further, if you ask me. The middle class will get more money in their hand. They'll spend on more products like ours. So definitely they'll be benefited.